Is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave a Three Houses sequel or a prequel? Let's take a look at what we know so far. Based on visual aesthetic alone, Fortune's Weave certainly looks like a prequel. Three Houses drew a lot of inspiration from late medieval to early modern Europe with its grand cathedral and military academy attire, whereas Fortune's Weave is clearly riffing on the Roman Empire. If this is Fodlan, which it may well not be, that's a big change in the style of buildings and clothing, though it doesn't apply to everyone, like the armoured Dietrich here. There's also Sothis herself, who appears as an adult at the end of the trailer. A quick spoiler warning here for Fire Emblem Three Houses. During that game, Sothis effectively sacrifices herself, fusing with Byleth to save them from a magical trap. Now, she could have recovered afterwards, or even possessed Byleth's body when they passed, but we also know that Sothis, or the goddess, appeared as an adult in Fodlan's distant past. This could be her at the height of her powers, before she falls into slumber and is somewhat killed by Nemesis. Three Houses certainly laid plenty of fertile ground for an ancient setting too. The goddess created a race called the Nabateans, and the sinister Those Who Slither in the Dark came from another ancient people called the Agarthans, some of which waged war against the goddess and aspired to godhood. With this fella declaring himself the divine sovereign, it could certainly fit, and would leave room for a younger Seteth and Flayn to make an appearance. On the sequel side of things, however, as keen-eyed fans on Reddit have already spotted, crests appear throughout the first trailer, as does this hero's relic. Forgive me for getting briefly lore nerdy, but the crests were supposedly only granted to the 10 elites by Nemesis after Sothis went into slumber and he killed a bunch of her children. So for Dietrich to have a crest and a hero's relic, he'd have to be a descendant of one of those elites. Now, it could be set in the window between then and Three Houses, but then where is Rhea? And if so, this being set in Fodlan seems even more unlikely. Also, did you notice that this nun is using a magical gun? We didn't see anyone in Three Houses wielding tech like that. On top of that, Dietrich appears to have the crest of Lamine, the very same as Yuritsa and Mercedes, who he happens to resemble quite a lot. A descendant of one of them, perhaps? It's worth noting that lore does not in any way lock this into being a sequel. As Three Houses made abundantly clear, histories are often unreliable and manipulated to suit the current ruling power. Three Houses was also awash with time manipulation, and we've already had the alternate universe in Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. Whew, that was a lot, but what do you reckon? Is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave going to be a prequel, a sequel, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments, and hopefully we'll find out soon.